So when we're dealing with signage, just real quick, we have content and we have hardware. Those are the three components. Most people talk about schedulers and hardware. They forget about content. So there's PowerPoint, there's Publisher, there's Adobe. PowerPoint is a viewing, it's not a publishing piece of software. The best it gets is 72 DPI. I take it and I blow it up on a 55. It doesn't look very pretty. I can't change that. It wasn't intended for that.
Right.
Publisher, I can actually take it, it's another free piece of software, and I can double it to 300 DPI. With the Pixel, I can double that. So that's a free piece of software, and I can do that. Adobe does a little bit better, but these other programs like Flypaper, everything's done in 1080p. I have 1080p hardware, I'm creating 1080p content. That makes things look beautiful. So I like 1080p, because if I'm going to go through the trouble to give you a really cool looking monitor, I want it to look cool. So just keep in mind that when you're creating your content, that you want that content as best possible. And when you take, this is another problem that people have, is when you're taking video, people like to pick up their iPads and take video in classrooms. The iPad probably has one of the worst cameras on it. Your phone's better than the iPad.
Yeah, the phone is my
Yes.
phone is 1080p. I was like,
Yes,
whoa.
your phone's better than an iPad, but people grab the iPad first. So we have to, then they put it up here and they go, oh, it doesn't look very good. And I go, you used that on the iPad, didn't you? And I know where they're grabbing their content. But you know what? Today, there's such good cameras out there that do 1080p. And they're not that expensive, so just take
That's
it.
a camera that does 1080p.
Yeah. Use the equipment that's designed for what you're doing, and you'll get really good content. If you go down and then you expect the monitor to do something crazy whiz-bang after you pulled in that content, it's like, you know, garbage in, garbage out.
This is what I love about this thing. It's interactive, so it's
Anywhere
not
on
just
the
a dead screen.
Anywhere on the screen, I can put touch points, okay? And the best part about this, because I went to school a zillion years ago and I had to learn that crazy programming stuff, I don't have to do that anymore. The way this software program works, and this is, I am not Flypaper, I'm hardware, but they create templates, and then they create flowcharts. And flowcharts are yes and no, right? So yes, I want to do this, no, I don't want to do that. That's all touches is yes and no questions. So you just point and click, it's all a GUI interface. When you're done, it wraps it up into a nice little executable. So I'm not this software company, but I'm just telling you that people will spend time and hours on content, and then it comes down to a ribbon cutting contest or some grand opening, and they're calling me 2 hours before the event and goes, okay, now what's that software again? It makes it work good. So you can do all kinds of things. You can even have blank screens. So you can have, in the software, you can create any palette that you want to create. You can create fun zones here where they have pictures, and you come over here and you draw, you know, kid zones within these things. Or you can have blank screens where you can, you know, say, this is my favorite one. By me. But there's different things that you can do that are interactive touch on these particular products here. You also have the ability to...
I'm sorry, I'm going to push pause on you. Is that a feature that Flypaper provides via
Yes.
like a software widget?
This is all, that part of their templates. So you don't have to be everything you see here is a template, point and click, and you're putting it in. We were trying to get a hold of Mike Rex, and he's local. The thing about Flypaper, the company, is they're Phoenix based. They're very great. They're very open to work with you. They're very appreciative to work with you. And
I've had two emails from them since I signed
Yeah.
up for the
Yeah.
they do webinars. Did you get on their webinar, Dave? Because a 45-minute webinar, you're going to go, whoa. You learn a lot in 45 minutes. So go to one of their webinars, and then you go, oh, okay, I get it. It makes sense. You also have the ability to create templates like this. So maybe I want my email address. Maybe I'm going to have kids sign up for a class, and they just want to do it themselves. You have a kiosk, they come up. When it's full, you're done. This attaches, in some of their versions, can attach to a spreadsheet. Gives you the spreadsheet and says, you know what, that class is done, got a new one, start a new class. So they can do self-service. Because the younger generation of kids either want to swipe a card, their cards, their ASU cards, or they want to type it in. They don't necessarily want to talk to us. We'd like them to talk to us, but sometimes they don't want to talk to us. and we can't do anything about that. But they're just driven a different way than we are, that generation of kids. So we have the ability to input data. I don't care if you're going to do a search on the web. If you're going to do search on the web, just make sure your PC has Wi-Fi or whatever, 3G or whatever you're going to do so they can get in on that. And then, you know, advertising. The thing about touch is that with any screen, people want to touch it anyway, regardless if it's touch or not. They're going to try to touch your stuff. This here is a tempered glass, so in a public area, not that we have bad students, but if someone happens to smoke a cigarette, pull out a knife, or even get mad and put a fist to it, it's tempered glass. That means it's going to take some resistance. You can clean it off, so if they
We've had a lot of people swiping that, and from here I can't
Yeah.
see any smudges.
You can wipe it off, because when people touch, you know, people touch and their hands are dirty or whatever, so you can clean it off. And it's also, if you feel this, afterwards I'll let you feel it, that it's really low power consumption. So we put these in liquor stores, I think it was $5 a month was all they're using it. It's basically a big photo frame. It's not taking a commercial display and rewrapping it. That's what people did before with kiosks. And then it was power consumption, and then it wasn't designed for close quarters, and then it got too hot, and it just didn't function as well. Here, it is basically a large photo frame. It doesn't heat up. It's got some fans in the back of the unit. I have these running 7 by 24 hours in hospitals, schools, and